People always ask how I balance my family life with 400 shows a year. I'm just doing what I love with the people I love. It's my magic life.
I like Wes Iseli. I like everything about him.
In today's episode, we have a magician that works the corporate market and trade show market hard. He is constantly performing for Fortune 500 companies, but besides working in that market, he's right at home in comedy clubs and banquet settings as well. And if that isn't enough, he also owns Wizard's Magic Theater in Orlando and performs there as well. This guy's funny, talented, and I'm happy to call him my friend. Everybody, it's Erick Olson. Woo! What's up, buddy?
Hey, guys.
Hey.
I'm glad to be here. How's it going with you both today?
It's pandemic time, man. We're just doing a podcast and just plugging along. Our governor is opening up a little bit, so the phone's starting to ring. That's a good sound to hear after a year and a half.
Yeah, my phone just started ringing about 2 weeks ago. It's nice hearing that again.
Yeah. Wow. So tell me about Orlando. Is it open fully? Is it people scared? How's it working down there?
Okay, well, it probably to a lot of people probably seems completely open, but there's still, Disney's still at lower percentage, and the theme parks are doing we're slowly taking away things. So they stopped temperature checking at the theme parks, but and you're allowed to take off your mask for pictures now. That was just a week ago.
Nice.
But I guess compared to the rest of the world, we do seem pretty free, because a lot of people come down and they're like, you have no idea. I would love to be like this right now. So.
Yeah, we had our publicist come stay with us for a week, and she's in downtown downtown LA. And she was, Black Lives Matter riots walking right by her door. She lives in an apartment complex downtown LA. And she's like, you can't eat outside. You have to get your hair cut on the sidewalk. And, it's masked up constantly. And it was just awful. No restaurants are open inside. And she comes to Virginia and she's like, this is like another country. But we're still not as open as Florida is. So.
Yeah, no, I'm happy to be here. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest.
Well, dude, I have to ask. I have to start every interview like this. How'd you get started in magic, man?
It was third grade. I saw the movie Houdini with Tony Curtis.
Love it.
And I was just hooked, and I went right to during library time at school. I said, do you have any books on Houdini? And she goes, no, we don't have any books on Houdini, but we have some books on magic. And I was like, mind blown, like, how can the secrets just be in a book that I can just check out? Like, that doesn't seem possible. So I checked out my first book, and probably did a couple tricks at home, but it didn't really show anybody. Next week, I took that one back, took out another one. On my third library week, I went to check out the third book that we had, and the librarian goes, I'm not going to let you check out that third magic book. And I thought, what's going on? I thought, why is she being mean? She goes, because you've checked out 2 books, and you haven't done anything with it. Yeah, I'll let you check this book out if you promise to perform a trick for all the kids. Otherwise, you should try to find a different interest if you're not really interested in this. And it was the best thing to do for somebody. And I did a trick. It was terrible. The kids still clapped.
No.
And I was hooked. Yeah.
Dude, that seems like a mean librarian, but she actually went above and beyond.
Yes. And she was one of the first ones to even get me in the library system back in the day to do, during library time all over my part of Wisconsin performing and stuff. So she was always very supportive. And I still have a book that she gave me from the library that she signed back in the day of one of the books I used to check out, and I still have it on my shelf.
Wow, that is a great. See, people make fun of me because I asked that at the beginning, but every time it's different. Every time it just blows me away. It's not all the same story. That's awesome, dude.
No.
So Wisconsin, and you end up in Orlando, but
yes.
You also went through Chicago. What was going on there?
Well, from Wisconsin, but right on the border of Wisconsin, which now actually is kind of funny. It's become a little bit of a magic mecca. There's Tristan Crisp's got a show in that town. Joe Diamond's got a little show. I think Nino's doing like a mentalist show. So I kind of left a town that I thought could never hold performance, and there's like 3 shows going on.
Wow.
Because it's become a real big tourist town. We set the Playboy Club there when I was a kid. So that was the big attraction.
In Wisconsin?
Yeah, right over the border. There was the Playboy Club in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin.
So is that real close to Chicago? Right over the border?
Yeah, it's like an hour
Okay, well, that's
depends
nice.
on traffic. So this is where all the people from Illinois would come up, bring their boats, spend time on the lake. They'd have nice little houses around our little lake. So it was basically all summer long, all you saw was Illinois license plates. And it's just kind of grown into a more tourist area over the years, bigger and bigger.
Wow.
Yeah. But so I always thought I could be a magician in Wisconsin. I need to go to the city. So I'd go down there a lot, perform at different venues, hotels, restaurants. I did a couple shows for Dennis Rodman's place. It was called Illusions back in the day. So that was kind of cool. And I hated snow. There was a ventriloquist friend of mine, Peter Hefty, and he comes up to me and goes, "Hey, I'm going to Florida to do a comedy club tour. I bet you I can get you on as the MC, and you can just do a trick in between and introduce each person. Come down to Florida with me." And again, I was hooked. Once I got down to St. Pete Beach, I'm like, this is where I want to live. I don't know why I'm dealing with the snow. So the third night I was emceeing, the feature act got sick. And the booker goes to my buddy Pete, "Hey, can your buddy do more time and be a feature?" "Oh, this guy's got so much time. Of course. Just have him do 30 minutes. And I go, "Pete, I don't even know if I have 30 minutes with me." He goes, "Just do a bunch of that. Say a couple bad words in between. Boom, and you'll be good." And, it was a great night. It was one of those magical nights where no matter who was on stage, the audience would have loved. They were just a great audience. The guy goes, "Cool. He's now the feature." And I got, another $50 or $100 to do that. And then I was crazy. I went from MC within 3 days to a feature and never looked back. I never had to do all that time to break myself in. I just, once you're a feature, then you're a feature. You work your way into headliner.
Wow. Because the guy called in sick.
Yes.
That's
So it was
awesome.
Perfect. Yeah.
That's
and
awesome.
And then we got to travel Florida, and I got to really see the area doing the comedy club circuit. And I was like, when I can, I'm moving to Florida. I'm out of the Midwest.
So what year are we talking when you did your first tour down there?
This was 96.
That was the year I graduated high school.
Oh, great. Make me feel old.
Wow. No. I'm letting everybody. My wife is laughing at me. She said she was in the 6th grade.
Oh!
But no, because I love comedy as well, man. So, I mean, did you see any big names and work with any big names in these comedy club circuits?
I mean, big names as far as what I would consider big names. I mean, I opened up for J.J. Walker.
That's awesome.
Yeah, stuff like that. So, you're doing things like that on the road, and you're like, wow, I used to see this guy on TV, and now I'm sitting in the green room with them, So, I love that. And the comedy, I think, really helps you do other shows because you're in a different room, a smoky room, maybe everybody's drunk. You're fighting everything to be a performer. So you really get your chops traveling, doing comedy clubs. And here's what's crazy is then the same ventriloquist who's got me on this tour came to the Keys for a show. The manager of the Marriott Key Largo said to him, "Hey, you're a magician. I'd love to have a magician in-house right here." He goes, "Oh, no, I'm a ventriloquist." He goes, "Oh, I don't like those." He goes, "You don't happen to know a magician?" And he goes, "It's crazy. My buddy Eric wants to get out of the Midwest, and he's looking for a reason to move to Florida." And so the same guy ended up hooking me with this manager of the hotel, the Marriott Key Largo, and I signed a 6-month contract. I got to live on property, eat dinners on property, use all the water sports, and I got paid to do close-up magic in the restaurant. 2 hours on Wednesday, 2 on Friday, 2 on Saturday, and 2 on Sunday.
Dude, that's
awesome.
That's luck.
Yeah.
It was luck, and it's like living in paradise, getting paid to live at a resort and just doing close-up magic. And then he ended up moving on. Another manager came in, and another manager. We kept flipping managers, so nobody ever told me to leave. So my 6-month contract, I just stayed there 2.5 years.
Yeah, don't leave.
Nobody's saying nothing. I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's fantastic, man. That's awesome.
It'd be funny, too, because the manager would go, "Wait, who's that again?" And everybody go, "Oh, it's our magician. Oh." And I would just keep walking, like, make no eye contact with your manager. I'm like, and he lives here? "Oh, yeah." "Oh, okay." And nobody could figure out like what to do with me. Like I guess he just lives here and works as the magician. I don't know. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Dude, that's one of the best show business stories I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah. And all those people would come down. They'd go scuba diving, drink at night. You do a little close-up magic, and they hand you the best little, the little handshake. The nice little tips in the hand. You're like, wow, I'm getting paid, and throwing $100 a night on my bed, in cash from people. I'm like, this is, I don't ever want to leave.
Wow.
Yeah.
But before you ended up doing that, was that the Bozo Super Sunday show? That's in your credits here, and I want to get to that. Tell me about your...
Okay.
That was before you ended up in Florida, right?
Oh, yeah, that was back in the Midwest. That was like, one of the big highlights, you would say, of your day, especially back then, growing up as a kid in the Midwest. Every day, you watch Bozo, and all the magicians pretty much did it in Chicago. Everybody from Terry Evans to Chesney, anybody you could think of that's from the Chicagoland area, the Ballsters, they're all on it. So you kind of get in that loop of those guys. You're like, man, I'd really like to do the Bozo show. Oh, well, here's the name of the guy. You get a call. I think you might have sent down a big VHS tape back in the day. And he goes, great. Hey, come on down. We'll do a couple. That's when I was in my illusion phase, my Copperfield, big hair days. And would you like to be on the show? I'm like, yeah, it'd be a dream come true, And I did the fire cage. I think I did a broom suspension, and then light bulbs to a girl. The Jim Summers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't realize there was that many magicians on there.
Oh, yeah. About every other week, there was a different magician. Paul Lee, I'm trying to just think of someone. Like, pretty much any magician that was a magician in Chicago made it on that show at one point or another.
That's so awesome. I just used to watch the Super Sunday show, so I guess I got an abbreviated version here in Virginia. It might have been in reruns or something as well. I don't know.
Probably, yeah, because it was on every morning. It was great. It was like people would wait. I think the tickets were like something ridiculous, like a 3-year wait.
Oh my
waiting
goodness!
list to get tickets to the show because it was that popular. Yeah, just to sit in the audience.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, I mean, so you got all these great credits, and I'm wanting to talk to you about Bozo Super Sunday. Sorry, man. Sorry.
No, trust me. I was like so excited and so nervous, and Bozo's back there talking. He's got a Coke in his hand. He's like, all right, here's how it's going to go, blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden they go, and who's your favorite clown, Bozo? And he goes, oh, shit, that's me. And he threw the Coke in the garbage, and I'm like, I just got to see Bozo swear. This is the best thing of my life.
Dude, that's awesome. That's so cool.
Can't get better than that.
Wow. That's like real life The Simpsons clown.
Yeah.
Golly. So what about the Unlock the Magic? Was that about that time as well?
You know what? I would say Bozo and then Unlock the Magic was probably right somewhere around right after that. Yeah, that was a really neat promotion that Blackstone put on with Oreo, Unlock the Magic. I can't remember how many magicians, but there was like maybe 2 per state all over the United States that they would pick to do this thing. So you had to audition. For me, even though I lived in Wisconsin, it was closer for me to audition in Chicago than to drive all the way up to Appleton where the other audition was. So I remember going to this place called the Daily Center, and I had no idea that both Gay and Harry were going to be there at the auditions. They're sitting there, people from the company, and you're like, what? Oh, this is going to be nerve-wracking, So I waited for like 5 or 6 people to write their name down first. I knew I didn't want to go first, but I knew I didn't want to be last. I wanted to be somewhere towards the top so I'm still memorable, So I purposely watched a bunch of guys fill out. I'm like, this is a good time to put my name in. And what I noticed was every magician was so nervous performing for Harry and Gay. They get up there, their hands start shaking, they're dropping. I'm like, okay, all I got to do is not act nervous and maybe do something funny because everybody's so serious and just to stand out. So I was going to do this. I had a couple ideas, but I remember I was going to decided, I'm pulling my bag. I'm going to do my jacket escape, but I'm going to put some Oreos in the sleeve, right? So I get up there, people tie me up, and right in the middle of it, my hand came up, and I go, now it's time for a cookie break. And I just started chewing on the Oreo cookie, and they just all started laughing, right?
Dude,
and
I would never have thought of that.
Oreo
That's awesome.
inside, I did a little more, another cookie came out. Sorry, another break. And they were just liking that, and I got the letter, I think about 3 weeks later that, hey, I was one of the magicians picked for the tour. And I was like, wow.
Did you have to do that same trick the whole tour?
No. In fact, they sent you an Oreo magic kit that you learned all the tricks from. So it was like, what's next with Oreos, a milk pitcher, nest of wands. So you basically did pretty much what was in that kit, and then you could add a couple of your own little things in there. But you were kind of like, here's the kit. You're going to go to grocery stores, do this little show, pass out Oreo coupons, little Oreo rubber guys. And I don't remember what we got paid, but it seemed like a lot back then, like maybe $2.25 a grocery store, and you were doing, every weekend you were doing 2 or 3 stores. So I was like, wow, I'm going to be rich.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That's so cool. So we're back in Florida. You finally made eye contact, and you eventually got laid off,
Yes.
or
Finally the new manager says, I really like that little apartment they put you in, and so you're gonna have to find other places to live. And I go, well, I can't live in the Keys for the money you guys pay me. That's why that was part of the agreement. He goes, well, I'm gonna live here now. So I'm like, okay, the writing's on the wall. I need to find something else. So I decided to move up more towards Clearwater area, and I got a job actually at Wiki Waji. I don't know if you heard of it. It's the Mermaid Show here in Florida. It's been there since before Elvis. He was there. So it's an old historic thing where these girls are in the river, but you go down and you watch them in this tank, do this mermaid show. And I got hired to open up on this little platform, doing little kid shows before the mermaid show on the weekends.
wow, that's cool. That's different.
Yeah.
It was different. And somebody, a manager at Disney, saw me there, and she said, hey, we have some auditions coming up at Disney. I could bring you in. And of course, she gets a cut, if I get the job. And she goes, just do kind of what you're doing here for the audition. And I said, oh, great. And I did the audition, and I got that. And then I started working for Disney at Disney's Boardwalk Resort on the outdoors doing street performing.
Nice.
But you weren't. Were you doing close up, or was it more street performing, cups and balls,
More that
parlor?
Street performing. Where you have you walk out, you sit down your little table, and some guys would put down a little rope, and you'd go, come on, everybody gather around, blah blah blah. And there'd be 3 performers, I think, at that time, and we rotate different sections. So there'd be one performer starting, another one would be starting a few minutes later, down at the end, and then when we'd go out, the other guys would come back. So it was kind of like on a rotation throughout the night. You would do 4 20-minute sets a night, and I did that for quite a few years.
Now, would I know any of the other guys? That wouldn't be like Dana Daniels and people like that, would it?
No, Dana was always at Disney
The
Land,
horse-
not Disney World.
Disneyland. Okay, okay. I'm getting confused.
Let's see. So Disney World. Let's see. I'm trying to think. There was back when I did it. It was. Oh, you know what? He left as I started, but John Armstrong used to do it. But
Okay.
I never met him then. He was actually moving out to Vegas or California at that moment when I started. So he would be one of the bigger names that were at Disney. And of course, there's Terry Ward, John Eakin. There was a lot of Russian jugglers and people like that. But it was a fun set because you would just go out and do your sets at Disney, and then the same agent needed a fill-in at the Horseshoe, the Diamond Horseshoe, where Dana worked the Golden Horseshoe in California. This Diamond Horseshoe, same setup, and I was basically the fill-in. So when nobody else could do it, then I would go do some time there during the day. So that was fun too.
Wow. Well, it's like 50 degrees here in Virginia and freezing, and I hear birds singing in the background. That's not your pet birds.
I sit outside because it's so nice.
Oh my gosh, you're making me jealous, man. I'm freezing. I've got like slippers on my feet right now. I'm cold in the house.
I'm a baby though. When it gets down to 70, I start shivering.
So my publicist was here from LA, and we were at a restaurant, and they opened the door across the room, and she's like, "I can feel the breeze. I can feel it. It's cold outside." I'm like, goodness. Anyway, all right. So, how about America's Got Talent?
Okay, so that came about because I saw the auditions, and I drove there was none in Florida at that point, so I had to drive all the way to Atlanta.
So what season are we talking about?
Very first season.
Whoa!
wow.
Whoa!
Yeah. Very first season. And we get there, and I had one of those, I forgot how I got it, but where you didn't have to wait in the major line at that point. There was like 2 lines, so that was kind of cool. And you still get up there, and I was purposely, anytime I saw a camera crew walking through the line, I'd start performing. Because I thought, you know what? I need to get their attention, because if they like me, that might help. So I was already, thinking about this. I'm always trying to think, okay, what's gonna give me the advantage? What's gonna give me the advantage? It's a game. You got to win the game. So I started doing different tricks and stuff in the line. I would just, even to other contestants, like, hey, take a card just to get everybody watching me, And the camera crew walked by and said, oh, hey, we need to get some footage. Keep doing that. Keep doing what you're doing. Blah, blah. Do something else. And I did, like, spike through tongue and some card things. And then I went up to the audition. I did really well in the audition. They said, we'd love you to come back tomorrow for the next thing. I was actually doing a corporate event the next day, and I go, I can't. I mean, I have this event, and they go, yeah, but this could be TV. I go, yeah, I can't. I would lose all my work for a year from this agent, or forever, So, they go, all right, well, do us a favor. Can you go back out with the camera crew and film some more stuff in line? Can you film some stuff here? I go, yeah, I can do whatever you want today. So they kept moving me around and put me in different spots. Do some over here, do some over there. So I get back to the car. My wife pulls around the car, and she goes, so how'd it go? And I go, oh, I'm going to get some TV time. And she goes, well, how do you know that? I go, because they made me film stuff here and there and over here. And she goes, and I go, but they needed me back tomorrow. She goes, you told me you can't, right? And I go, no, I said that. So I said I can come any other day. They said, no. I go, she goes, oh, okay, well, then you ain't going to get anything. You can't come back. All of a sudden, I'm at the boardwalk at Disney. I come backstage, and I goes, I just saw you on the commercial for a new show. I go, what are you talking about? Yeah, you were doing magic outside or something. And I go, what? And I just kept waiting on my break, hoping the commercial would come back. And I'm like, oh, yeah, there I am. And then the opening of AGT, they kept using my clips over and over and over again that first year. So it was crazy because I'd be getting these calls. Hey, I saw you in the commercial, but I didn't see you on the show. I've been looking for you. And I'm like, no, they just use me in all the clips. They go, they're using you like all the time. And I go, yeah. So it was kind of cool that I had tons, even though I didn't get on the show, that first year, over and over and over, you see me throughout the clips and the commercials. And Regis said, we traveled all over America to look for the most unique acts. And this is who we found. And then boom, they went to a clip of me. That was the very first clip, the very opening of the show.
Wow, I saw that on your website. That is awesome, man.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, they used you in all the teasers, man.
Yeah, all the teasers, so you could see me over and over. And at the beginning of the show, kind of, it was just the Evan Regis go, we traveled all over America to look for the most unique acts, and this is who we found. And then they would just show clips of people, and mine was the first clip on the first thing. And I was like, oh, that's really cool.
So would you go back and do it again?
You know what? I probably would have years ago. You know when you're younger, Wes, everything's like, I can do this, I can do this. Then you get a little older, you start thinking, well, this isn't perfect yet. Oh, this won't be this. You start talking yourself out of things, I think, sometimes.
Yeah, well, so after we did Fool Us, they called us and asked us to be on it, and they were going to give me a pass to skip all the lines and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And I just sat there and talked to the producer directly and frankly, and I said, look, I've heard all the bad things, and oh, no, well, we've changed the show a lot. And I don't watch the show because it's summertime, and usually my summer's crazy. Yeah. But I'll watch the magic clips people send me. But we were really thinking about doing it, but I don't know what's going on with this season. They wanted us, and then, I don't know. I don't know what happened. Maybe they don't want us.
Maybe we asked too many questions.
Yeah.
We were like, we don't want to be on a boo reel, even though we get through or something. I mean,
right.
So
they own your likeness. So they had a guy walking down the back alley after he got booed off the stage or whatever, and he kicked a trash can, but it wasn't him. It was just another magician or another person in a red jacket kicking a trash can. So it made it look like, that magician really took it to heart and stuff. And we're like, we don't want that, and well, I talked to that guy for like an hour asking him questions, are you sure you won't do this to me? All right, now I have another magician friend that had this happen. You won't do this to me? So I don't know. That's why I was wondering, would you be interested?
You said, they edit it where the person might not even be bad, but they just it was just that right moment that they can make it look like it.
Right.
You know, I had a juggler friend, and part of his routine is purposely dropping the clubs so he can kick them all up. But they use that clip of him dropping, and then, of course, edited boo, so it looks like, oh, he messed up. And it crushed him for a while. He didn't want to go perform it took him about a month because he goes, I know it. Everybody saw that. That's part of my act, and nobody's going to know. And I'm like, dude, it's such a blur. Nobody can remember who is who getting booed at, but it does affect people, though, when it happens.
Yeah.
No, I mean that, and what the guy said is we've really changed our policy because it is people's career. It can make and break a person, not just their career, and we don't want to do that. That was the old producers trying. Now that the show's up and running, we've changed a little bit.
It was more of, if this is your full-time job, we don't do that to you anymore. If you're just somebody coming on and this isn't your... So if you're a hobbyist magician going on America's Got Talent, there's a chance they might put you in a boo reel. But if this is your full-time job, they won't mess with your livelihood.
Right.
So, yeah. So,
and one good thing about you guys doing the Fool Us, what's good about that is there's always a positive. Their thing is always in a positive. So everybody's going to get a positive line that they can use because Penn doesn't ever say, you're terrible, you should never perform again or anything like that.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, and them putting underneath mine, with him having text on the screen saying I couldn't love this trick more, and then them doing my trick. It's like I hit the lottery, dude. Do I really need America's Got Talent to get eventually kicked off?
No.
Right. Anyway, enough of that stuff. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we get to Wizards?
No. Let's talk about Wizards.
How long have you had Wizards? How did it get started?
Say what Wizards is first, because people who aren't into magic might not understand what you're talking about saying Wizards, Wesley.
Good job, honey. Good job.
All right, so I have it's not open at the moment. It's going to be open again soon, though, because now things are opening up. But a small 50-seat venue is called Wizards Magic Theater, and every Monday night I have magicians from all over the world come in. I MC. I warm them all up. I work on whatever I want to work on new, and then I bring on magicians that anybody that's into magic would have heard of. I mean, I've had everybody from Jonathan Pendragon to Shim Lim to Doc Eason, Mike Lamar. I mean, you name it. I've been lucky to have a who's who of magicians from all over the world perform at my little venue. And how it came about was I was looking for a venue for just me, to be honest. It was like, I'm looking for a venue for me. Me and my wife were scouring Orlando area, and we're going from hotel to hotel and restaurant and trying to find the vibe, the right vibe for magic. And we walked in this one hotel, and they had this room off from the pool. We walked in, it was just a little too small, It had some perks. There was a tiki bar outside of it and a little lobby area, but the room's just a little too small. So we start walking out, and a manager goes, "Excuse me, can I help you?" And we just said, "Yeah, well, we're just kind of looking for a venue." And he goes, "Well, the general manager's here today, and he's hardly here. I should probably bring you in the office. You should bring this up to him." And I go, "Well, I kept thinking this room's a little small, so it doesn't matter, So we go in his office. We explain we want to have a one night a week magic venue just for me, to perform. And he goes, "Oh, well, how much is this going to cost me?" That was his line. And then me and my wife look at each other like, "Cost you? It ain't going to cost you anything." He goes, "Great. Can we start next week?"
Wow.
You got to give us at least a couple weeks so we can promote and do other things, And he goes, "Okay, all right." He goes, "We'll try it out. And if it works for both of us, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't." And so the first night, my buddy TC Ta, who lives here in Lakeland now, close to me, and then John Eakin, and I kind of made it like a who's who of Orlando guys. And I go, "Hey, will you guys help me out? Let's put this thing together." And the first night, we had all 50 seats sold. It was a lot of magicians, but still a lot of laymen that were at the hotel came in. It went over really good. And I'm like, "Great, we have something." So the next week, of course, I did it myself. And then I'm like, but I started seeing it was the same people coming pretty much every week. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm going to be out of material soon." It's where we have a following. It's not changing like I thought. So it was funny. Michael Amar's in Orlando now. He moved to Orlando back then at that point. And he goes, hey, I'm going to be doing a lecture tour soon. Would it be cool if I did some time at your place? I'm like, no, that'd be great. Because all the same people are coming back, and I don't know what I'm going to do this next Monday. So that's when I switched to MCing, because I can break in when I want and then have a different magician. And then it just became, the word started getting out to other magicians, hey, when you're in Orlando, do Wizards. You know, you get a couple $100, they put you up in a hotel, and it's on a Monday. So usually most of the guys that came into town were working the weekend. They'd stay to Monday, do Wizards, and then fly home Tuesday. So it became this thing when you're in town either on vacation or for a trade show or whatever, you got to do Wizards. So, and my audiences are the best audiences. Like, literally every magician that always walks out of there on a high. They're like, these are the best audiences. And I go, they really are. We've been really fortunate that everybody comes in to a show. It's just like, that is an amazing little room. And that's really how it got growing, because people are like, you just got to do it. You don't even want to do it for the money. It's not about that. It's just such a great room to perform in. So we were really lucky. 10 years running every Monday, different acts every single week for 10 years. And then the pandemic hit, and we're like, hey, you know what? We don't want to be part of the problem. So we're like, we'll close. And now we're finally opening up. We're kind of looking like, if we want to go back to that same venue, or maybe look for something new and give everybody something exciting to look forward to when we reopen.
So we have listeners from all over, and I know we have listeners in Orlando. How much are tickets, and where do they get them when it opens back up? Because I mean, people might pick this up a year from now when they listen to the podcast.
Right. So yeah, it'll be wizardsmagictheater.com, and they can go there for the tickets, and they're $15 for the regular seats, $20 for the front row, and there's only 8 front row seats, and it's an hour show, and it's just a fun little venue. I mean, you can look at some of the reviews on TripAdvisor and stuff. So, but it's funny, you'll see some of the reviews go, we went to the show, like say came from a different state, and they're like, and I looked around, it seemed like a lot of people knew each other in this room, because it's became that where it's like a lot of the same people week after week after week. So they're like, it's so weird. We went to this venue and everybody seemed to know each other.
Wow, that is so cool.
Yeah, and we've had some, not only on stage, but some of the great magicians in the audience. I mean, just in the audience, we've had Lance Burton pop in, and stuff like that. You're just like, Lance goes, hey, would it be possible for me to get a ticket? Yeah.
I think we can pull something from the lobby.
Yeah. Lance, I'll throw out Michael Amar out the door for you.
That is so awesome, man. That is so cool. Well, you guys ought to franchise something like that. That would be great. We need one here.
Yeah. You know what? A lot of people brought it up when we were really kicking butt. I just didn't know how I was going to control. See, we were lucky being in Orlando. People come here for destinations, so it was easy for me to get magicians. I've told other guys who tried to open venues, if you're looking for, if it's just you, it's one thing. But if you're looking to rotate guys, you got to be someplace where guys are coming. Guys are going to Chicago for trade shows. Guys are going to California, So being in Orlando, we're real fortunate that people are here. And I have a good base of magicians that already live here. So if I have a falling out, I still have Terry Ward, Michael Amar, T.C. Tahoe, Bill Abbott now lives in St. Augustine. He'll drive down for me. So I have what's nice is I never have to worry if I do have a falling out. I have a strong base that still makes a nice show, whether there's somebody in town or not.
So who does the booking for that? Is your wife doing that as well as booking all of your stuff?
Yes, she'll handle it. I mean, if she doesn't know the magician, she'll say, hey, do you know who this is? If somebody's here. But she's to the point where she can pretty much hit a video when people send it down going, oh, you're more of an opening act, but if you want to open up, we'll still pay you something, and then if you do great, we'd love to bring you back as the headliner magician next time. And a lot of times, if there's guys that you've never heard of that end up being great, they were like, oh, we got to have him back. That he was just surprisingly talented, And it's a nice room because you can do close-up or parlor because it's a smaller room. Having those 50 seats, guys who can just do close-up can still sit down and entertain, as well as the guys who can do stand-up. So that's helped me have a nice variety, too.
And you don't need projection screens or anything like that because it's only 50 seats. Everybody's right there.
don't even need to mic them.
Wow.
That was great.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Well, tell your wife Wes Iseli, and I can send her some videos. It's Iseli. No, that's on my to-do list. That's on my bucket list, man. Yeah, I want to work Wizards. Heck yeah, man.
I love when people say that. It always makes me happy. I'm like, or I get this. When can I work? I go, no, you tell me when you're in town, so I can put it in the book. It makes life so much easier. People, what? I've had magicians go, that was the easiest I ever got booked. I go, what date are you gonna be in? Perfect. You're in the book. It's done. Like, what? Yeah, I'll send you an email. Oh, okay.
So do you run it like a I don't know, another venue in a touristy town? I mean, do you guys have the flyers and the hotels and different things all over town?
Yeah, and now it's internet based, so getting up on TripAdvisor and Yelp and that kind of stuff. That really opens up doors. That's what people really nowadays look at. Some people, that's all they look at. They just go to Yelp or TripAdvisor and say, okay, what to do or magic show, and then they read the reviews and say, yeah, we just saw the reviews, and we're like, that's good enough for us. So
that's awesome.
Because we always ask, oh, you're from out of town. How'd you hear about us? And 9 times out of 10, it's Yelp or TripAdvisor, or we just like looking for magic shows when we're in a different town. Oh, do you do magic? No, we just like magic shows. Oh, perfect.
Well, we've been doing our Zoom shows and selling tickets on Eventbrite, and we were doing Facebook ads and different things like that. But we got quite a few tickets sold just because we're selling tickets on Eventbrite. Because some people look at Eventbrite just for things to do in the area. I don't know if you've heard of that or knew about that or not.
Yeah, we've got that's because we were on Eventbrite too for Wizards, so same kind of thing. Yeah, people would be like, "Oh no, we just went on Eventbrite, bought tickets." I'm like, "Oh great."
Yeah, I just went on Eventbrite just to see what was going on. I saw your show and bought tickets. I was like, "You weren't looking for magic? You weren't?" No, I just wanted something to do next Saturday. Wow, that's cool. All right.
And it's something else too. We always did all those things like in the local papers, things to do on Saturday. You can just fill those out and they'll put you up in all those local paper things. So, we did all that. And
like the community calendar is what we have around here. Yeah.
And funny, you get categories. Like once we were voted best date night, I'm like, how do we get that? I don't remember anybody coming in. Nobody said anything, but all of a sudden, this voted one of the best date nights. I'm like, oh, well, I don't know how we got it, but I'm happy to have it.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Wow. So being at the hotel, I mean, there's always great parking. It's always, you have clean restrooms. Everything's, you don't have to worry about any of that.
No, and there's a tiki bar right outside. So afterwards, the hotel is really happy with the money that also they make on the wings and the burgers and the beer afterwards. So when on a nice night, all the magicians go out, hang out, and sit out there and talk magic for like another hour or so after the show.
Now, do you leave your stuff there, or do you pack it all up and take it home?
They gave me like a locked closet that's all our own. So all the backdrops, all that stuff, all goes down into like a case, a trunk, and then we just wheel it into the room and lock it up. And then every Monday we get there like an hour and a half early, set it all back up again, and so that way they can use the room for other events that they rent out throughout the week.
So awesome, so cool. Yeah. You're awesome. Daggone it.
We've been real fortunate as far as the hotel being so good to us.
So I'm skipping around here, but I went on your website because I knew you. I hung out with you at MAES. Yeah. I didn't know. I knew of you from Wizards Theater, and I knew you were the guy that owned Wizards Theater in Florida, and you were going to come there, but I didn't know you. But man, we had a blast at that convention.
It was my favorite convention of all time.
And staying up and hanging out at nighttime, after everything was done, you were so much fun to be around. And I was like, daggone it. This is what I love about magic conventions, that my wife can't wrap her head around that. She thinks we're just acting silly and, playing card tricks.
Don't. Why you put this stuff on me like that?
But man, we had so much fun that night. So yes.
Did we not? It was like the whole group, we were getting along so good and just laughing. And it was really, the whole convention was great. Not even just that. I thought how it was run, how everybody, people would come up afterwards and ask questions like, hey, well, which trick is that again? Really respectful. I'm like, oh, that one's on this or that. Okay, great. I'm going to, I'd love to do that convention again. It was so much fun.
Well, we'd love to have you, man. So I think anytime, I think they could make it work for you. But as far as doing like the corporate stuff and the Fortune 500 companies and the trade shows, you market. How do you do your trade shows? A lot of people, like Danny Orleans or somebody like that,
Yep.
every single trick gets themed for the corporate. And then there's some people that just go out there and just do close-up magic. What is your take on the corporate stuff, on the trade shows?
I think I am right in the middle. I have 3 or 4 things that tie the company's information into my show. But then I also do a soft sell where I start out just entertaining, and I really end at the very end, whatever I'm going to tie in with. Let's say it's a jumbo 3-card Monty or something. They all turn to aces. And I go, but you know why you're all here? Because we've been rated #1 for service, support, and security. And there's no better time than right now to step in our booth and let our knowledgeable staff tell you a little bit more about what we can do for each and every one of you. Thank you. I'm Erick Olson. And then I'll wrangle them into the booth like that. So I start out mellow. I'll sprinkle in a couple little funny things that tie in our company. And then I just hit them at the end with one last pitch. And then let the salesman take over. Because I feel, my personal opinion of it is, they're the professionals. I just need to know enough to make me dangerous, but not enough. Like, I'll call backup. Like, they'll go, Erick, do you know if that will work with our 4F system? Susan's the expert on that. Susan, would you mind coming over here and answering this question? You know, because sometimes if I give too much information, then I'll have a line of people asking me questions that I can't answer.
Right. Yeah. No.
And that doesn't look good for the company either, you know? Who's the salesman that doesn't know anything about your product?
Well, I have a degree in marketing, and it drives me crazy when you watch a sales pitch and every single trick and every single line they say tries to talk about the company.
Correct.
And I feel like it sucks the fun out of the performance, because some of the scripting is so bad, it sucks away from the performance. So I like how you do it and just tie it all together with a nice bow at the end.
Yeah, it feels like otherwise an infomercial. You're just doing an infomercial.
But some of them are so bad. I mean, you would
Yes.
never watch that commercial on television. You'd change the channel so fast because the scripting is horrible.
Right.
You know, I don't know. Maybe it's like a magic competition at a local club of people that, you know, it's what they think should happen in a competition. And some of that magic's so hard to watch.
Yeah.
So,
no, it's funny because I never thought it was a trade show magician. I mean, if I always thought myself more as just a, family entertainer or whatever. And when I started doing it, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but the payoff at the end is so worth it. The connections, the money, the traveling. I mean, I've stayed at resorts all over the world that I never would have paid out of my own pocket to stay at. And you're like, I'm videotaping home. Yep, another 3-room suite all by myself tonight.
wow. But it's like 8 hours of close-up magic. It's not just a
Yes.
couple-hour gig, right?
No, your feet are hurting. At the end of the day, you don't want to go out. You just want to grab food to go, sit in your room, maybe work on a few things for the next morning, rest your voice, and hit it again. And you're doing that 3 days on average straight. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, that's...
So it's a lot of work. So the guys, if you think you want to get into it, the best thing I always say is find a friend who's got a little company, let you work a booth all day, and really work it. Don't just sprinkle it and see if that's what you want, because it's a lot of work, and then learning just enough for the company too to make them happy. That's like, it's like you're going back to school. You're learning about software that you don't understand, and you got to study it, learn it, so when you're at that booth, it sounds like you know what you're talking about too.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. I like how you do it, and I like that you do the dedication to do the homework. You don't just show up, and you're not going to get rehired if you just stand there and do magic when you feel like doing magic for those 8 hours. You have to be on the whole 8 hours.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you really have to look around and, gather the crowd and bring them over and say, oh, hey, come, that's the other trick. People aren't going to just walk over because you're a magician. There's an art to gently bringing people over to start getting the crowd around the booth, like a good street performer.
Right. Yeah, I mean that's really what it is. You're trying to get that crowd together. And then the payoff is getting them into that booth and getting sometimes their business cards, or get them to sign their email address down on a paper or something.
Yeah. Now it's scanning their badges. Getting all the badges scanned.
There you go. So with corporate work and all this stuff, I see a car commercial on your website.
Oh, yeah.
I watched it 3 times waiting for the magic trick, man. I'm like, where's the magic trick? Did he make that sign appear at the beginning? Did the letters change? I'm watching it slow. I'm waiting for the magic trick.
I'll tell you how I got that. That was a funny story. My wife got a call one day. They wanted this man of the street saying their company name Nimnik, and because nobody knows how to say their name, that was their idea. The problem is, I guess they had a bunch of actors, and they were just too stiff. They didn't know how to really find regular people and just get that. So they called my wife. They go, I see yours is like a comedian, magician. Would he feel comfortable just walking up to perfect strangers? She goes, oh, yeah, that's right. That's right up his alley. They go, well, we wanted to kind of put the name on a billboard, like right in their face. And it goes, oh, yeah, no problem. And I heard her say, you know what? He'd wear a little, or whatever the pay was. She goes, oh, he'll wear a little Bo Peep outfit for that kind of money. And that's all I heard when I walked in the room. I go, what am I getting talked into?
That's funny.
That's funny. No, do a car commercial up in Jacksonville. I go, I'm not an actor. No. I'm just going to walk up to people. And it was kind of funny. After I got the director's kind of direction, I would just start doing it, like in the restaurant, at the park, or whatever. And I go, I got this. He would just take a break. He goes, yeah, you guys go take the camera crew. Eric, go do your thing. And I would just be upsetting people on golf courses and all kinds of stuff, going Nimnik. And people like, and what's the name of this company? And they go, Nimnik, Schneiddish, Nimnik. No, it's Nimnik. The best car dealership in Jacksonville.
That's great, man. That's funny.
And I heard, I did a flat rate, and there's a little tip for anybody who's never gets any kind of commercial or anything. If you have your choice between making some kind of residual, even if it's a penny, over getting a flat rate, always do the residual, because I heard that played for 2.5 years, like all night long, like at 2 and 3, 4 in the morning. If I would have got even a penny, I would have made so much more money for how often they played that commercial.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So during the pandemic, you've been working on a new website, the barbetsandtricks.com.
Yeah. I thought, I really thought this thing was going to be over in 3 months. So I was like, I've got all that kind of money in reserve. I can just relax. This will be over. And then 3 months went by, and it's not going over. I'm like, I got to scramble. And I'm reading everybody doing, virtual shows and this and that. And I'm like, oh, man, I don't know if I want to start setting up cameras. And I'm trying to think what to do. I'm like, I'm going to do something different. And at that point, I wasn't sure. I had some trick ideas in mind. And Bill Abbott, puts out Bill Abbott Magic. He's got a great guy. Said, you know what? These would be good on my site. This pick your poison trick. And I go, I'm thinking about making a barbets kit. He goes, no. You can do that. This is a standalone trick. This isn't for regular people. This is a magician trick, And I'm like, well, it's just a 3-way out. No, but it's a beautiful one. And he goes, we're going to put that out. So he put that out, and we did really, 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 really well with it. So that got me thinking, maybe I have something putting things out. I never thought about putting magic out and different things at that point. And then I started doing a couple TikToks, doing a couple barbets, and they really went over really, really well. So I'm like, you know what? That's it. I'm going to put together a little kit of barbet things that a regular person can show their friends when they come over to their house bar. They can learn them now. After the pandemic, go out to the bar, win a few free drinks, because everybody's going to need some free drinks after all this. So I put together this barbets kit, and it's going over really good. In fact, Brian Brushwood just contacted me. We just got to figure out the date. They want me to come and film a bunch there, and he's going to start having them on his website. I just got them on Amazon, and I have my own barbetsandtricks.com site where you can find all kinds of fun barbets and pranks and fun things that adults can do to each other.
Wow. So it's not just you had a 52-on-1 card in there. You had like a 4.5 of clubs or something.
3.5 clubs.
Yeah, you have gimmicked playing cards. Does it come with dice?
Yep, it comes with the die it comes with everything you need. You can literally open this box and start betting people different things for your friends to win free drinks. So I took some regular bar bets, and then I took some magic ideas and changed them into a bar bet. So you don't have to be a magician. There's no sleight of hand. There's nothing, no skill. You just got to say the lines and go, nope, there you go. You owe me a drink, you know?
That's awesome. That's great. Barbetsandtricks.com, and the and is spelled out. A-N-D. Yeah.
And the reason I decide that I could also put my tricks, so when people go, hey, what can I find some of your tricks? Oh, bar bets and tricks. So if you're looking for tricks, my magic tricks are on there. If you're looking for bar bets, they're all on there. So that's my new kind of pandemic, what I did in the pandemic, getting that up and going.
So is the Blockbuster sleeve, is that your idea?
No, it's actually somebody else's idea, and I worked out a deal to buy them from him. So, but, you know, he didn't really know how to promote it.
I love it.
It's so funny. When I go out and do that, it's just a sticker that goes over your credit card that looks like an old Blockbuster membership card. And what I do is I'll just pull it out, and at the restaurant, I'll just set it down and kind of turn my head and be like, excuse me, sir, I think you gave me the wrong card. And I look down and go, no, that's it. And then they go, no, sir, this is your Blockbuster membership card. And I would say, oh, yeah, no, I still have points on it from when I used to have it. Yeah, it will work. I know I have tons of points. And they look at me, yeah, go run it. And they run the card. They go, it worked. And I go, yeah, you don't have your card anymore? Oh, too bad, because all those video rentals, there's tons of money selling cars.
I love it. And the microchip thing sticks out. You can still see that. You can still swipe the microchip thing.
Yeah.
It's
so
still...
what I do is if you order one, you just say whether you need a small chip, big chip, or in England, most of them are just tapped, so they just get the flat one. So I have 3 different versions, and you just put it either on the front if you have one of those nice smooth new credit cards, or some guy said they've been putting it on the back, so they don't even worry about it. They just put it on the back of the credit card, and then they just still, tap it on the machine, and people are like, what?
That's so awesome.
Yeah, I just like fun things like that kind of break the moment,
Awesome. So we got wizardtheater.com, wizardmagictheater.com. Thank you, honey.
Yep.
Corporatecomedian.net,
Yep.
barbetsandtricks.com, but we're not done yet.
No.
On Facebook, Comedy Magician. On Twitter.
Twitter, on Instagram, on everything. You put Comedy Magician, every social media I've been lucky to get, except for TikTok. That was the only one that was already taken. So since I'm doing the bar bets on there, I just did bar bets and tricks on that one too.
And it's all spelled out, A-N-D, bar bets and tricks.
And what's great, if you go to my TikToks, you want to learn some free bar bets. That's pretty much all my videos. You'll see they're just teaching you how to have fun with your friends at the bar, different stunts, different things that you say, hey, if you can do this, I'll buy you a drink. But if you can't, and I can, you'll buy me a drink. And you know what? If you're doing it with friends, they're more than happy to learn how you're going to do that bar bet, that play on words. So, yes, you guys should all check that out if you want to. You don't have to buy one of my kits. You just go to and you'll see a lot of teaching right on there on fun bar bets.
Well, I'm going to check it out as soon as we hang up here.
Yeah.
Dude, this was awesome. Thank you so much for doing this. I appreciate it.
Thanks for asking me. I really appreciate it. I was honored.
And let me know when I need to call your wife and send her my demo reel so I can come out to Wizards
I'll let you know when we open, and you just tell me when you're coming to Florida. It's a done deal. That's how easy it is.
I got a booking today, folks. I got a booking. Put it on the books, honey.
Yep.
All right, cool. Well, dude, stay on the line real fast. I'm going to do a plug, and then we'll wrap everything up after. But thank you for doing this with me. I appreciate it.
Wes, Natalie, both of you appreciate it.
You're awesome,
Thank you.
dude.
Thank you for being on.
Tonight on Jewel TV, they are airing episode 9 from season 2 called The Fool Us Media Blast. We had just won Fool Us. Our publicist sent out a press release, but during the pandemic, we were doing outside interviews and Skype interviews, and
Yes.
I took my trophy with me everywhere.
Yep.
That's pretty funny.
Yes.
But Jewel TV is on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, the Jewel TV app, and tons of other places. It's in over 100 million households. All you have to do is look for it. You can find it. See you next week. Today's episode of the podcast is sponsored by Express Copy and Graphics. Mention promo code Wes Iseli to get 10% off. Their website is expresscopy.com. That's XPRESS-COPY.com. They do it all. Copies, banners, signs, vehicle wraps, promo items, Practically anything you need printed, they can do it for you. These guys are great. Check them out. Check us out online at wesisley.com and patreon.com/Wes_Isley for behind-the-scenes videos, blooper videos, never-before-seen footage, discounts on merchandise, magic trick tutorials, and more. That's Wes Iseli, spelled Wesiseli.